Hello. I'm John Paul Restrepo. I'm here to present my presentation about police corruption. So this is my UNGID, and this is my driver's license. I don't know if you can really see that, but okay. Sorry. Okay. So, what is police corruption? By me. Okay, so police corruption is an illegal behavior committed by a police officer, and then in that behavior, they have to use their authority as a police officer to gain something for personal gain, you know? So it's those three things that you need to be classified as police corruption, if that makes sense. So if someone were to commit a crime and the or if a police officer were to commit a crime but they didn't use their authority then to commit the crime, then it's not corruption. So let's say like if a police officer um did meth or something, smoked meth, he's not doing it um using their authority to smoke the meth. They're just smoking meth. Now, if the officer went to a told somebody to give them the meth or they're going to take them to jail and then they smoke the meth, that's it's pretty corrupt because it was for their personal gain that they took the meth. They didn't take it for, you know, the the for the well, like because it's the law. They didn't take it because it's the law. They took it because they wanted it. That's just an example. Let's see, next slide. So a big thing about like corruption is they show it a lot in media. There's this TV show called Spiral by Clert and Sanderson, and it shows like it's like one of the best interpretations of corruption. Even if like in the show it wasn't exactly police officers that they shown, but it was a couple individuals that were very corrupt, and it's just they show like the purest form of corruption, really. So, Joseph Carlson, he was a lawyer in the show, and he was a cynical lawyer, basically just all around corrupt dude. Judge Francis Robin, right? He was an investigating magistrate, obsessed with his independence and unafraid to bend rules when necessary. So bending the rules exactly. That could be anything. That could just for that's the personal gain right there that he's looking for. He's bending the rules, using his authority to bend the rules for his personal gain. That was him. And then Pierre Clement. He struggles to maintain his professional integrity in the face of interpersonal entanglements. Um, Basically, Pierre is kind of like the. You could think of Pierre as just like a regular bystander that is getting, you know, convinced to be corrupt, I guess. And it's just the show's all about him fighting back. So corruption's just a really big thing in the media. They show it a lot. So it's a common thing that they've shown before. So we know what to look out for. We know that it's all about using their authority for personal gain and committing a crime at the same time. That's all it has to be um, for anything to be corruption. Any form of corruption, even if it's not police corruption. Um, so the four types of corruption are theft, bribery, extortion, and noble cause corruption. And noble cause, some consider it not to be a form of police corruption, but I'll get into that later. Why some would think it's not. But so the first one is theft. Theft is the most common form of corruption. It's just really easy for police officers to do it. It's just they have so much access to all these things and they could just take it. So, like I said, yeah, the definition of theft is the taking of property without permission. So, this is just let's just say like a cop wants to just he sees something in the evidence room and he likes how it looks, he could just take it. Now, that's still corruption because he's taking evidence, which is wildly illegal. Um, he's using his authority to gain access to the evidence room, and then taking he's taking it and using it for himself. It's just personal gain for him. So that's usually how the theft will go. It can happen in other ways. Let's say a cop is stops somebody and feeling around in their car or something. They're taking a look at their car. They take something in the car. That's it. So it could just happen in many different ways. But it's the most common form because it's just so simple to steal. Like you could steal anything. A lot of people just steal. So bribery is the second form of corruption, and bribery is the acceptance of money and services or goods in exchange for some consideration. So so yeah, this one just mainly you'll see it with money, but all it has to be is them giving the officer something in exchange for the officer doing a favor for them or something, or letting them off easy. It doesn't matter what it is. So it could come in small scale, like speeding tickets. When it comes to a speeding ticket, if a police officer pulls someone over and then they bribe them with money, and the officer accepts the money in exchange for not giving them the speeding ticket, that would be a form of corruption. Um, and then it'll also happen large scale, like organized crime. Let's say a police officer um, sees the organized crime happening, sees all this, and they pay the police officer off to not speak on it, not rat him out. Just turn the other way, look away. So it just happens in many forms. Bribery can happen. Um, yeah. So extortion is the third form, and extortion is the use of threats to obtain something. Usually money is involved in this one too. A lot of these are money involved because, you know, money makes the world go round. That's where power is, I guess. But the power, so usually in these situations, officers use their authority as an officer to threaten somebody, to threaten them into anything. Maybe it's beating them, maybe it's just threatening them, telling them that they're gonna take them to jail, even though there's no there's no reason to. Maybe they haven't committed a crime or anything. It can happen anyway, and they'll usually they'll say, well, if you pay me this much, then I won't. So that's what extortion is. It's all about the threats. It all boils down. So the difference between bribery and extortion is that extortion, the officer's threatening them to um or like it's more of an or else. So you better do this or else. You better give me this or else. It's more of the deal with extortion, but with bribery, it's more someone offers them the money or offers them the good or service, and then it's more of the other individual asking for the leniency and the consideration, while this one it's more the officer saying, I'll do it if you do this. That's the main difference between the two. They're close, but kind of like flip-flop situations. um there has been this operation called Operation Pungli Task Force. I'm not sure exactly what country it's in, but it's not in the US for sure, and it's their whole task force is just tasked to prevent extortion, and you see some of that happen in the US also. Some of that translate in the US. But this organization is mainly not only fighting police extortion, but also fighting anybody, businessman extorting, political figures, all that. So it's not just the police that they're trying to prevent, but they still do prevent police. And yeah. Okay, so noble cause extortion. So noble cause extortion is a belief the police may take illegal action to achieve a greater good. So the like I said earlier, some people believe this isn't really corruption, like the definition of corruption is, where you need the crime, use of authority, and personal gain. The reason some wouldn't consider it is because there is no personal gain. It's more of you doing it for the greater good or for other people. There's no like nothing personal that you're getting out of it. So um that's why some would say, but it still is corruption either way. Um this one's more the problem with noble cause corruption is it sounds good. It sounds wow, like you're doing all this to get to get this good outcome, but the reality is do the ends justify the means for it? Is Was that all worth it in the end? Like how legal is this still? So um so noble cause is seen a lot in like World War II and Cold War. Stuff's like propaganda, where it came with like how in the Cold War there was a lot of propaganda against the US, or the US had a lot of propaganda against Russia, and it was to protect them from the Red Army from becoming a communist or whatever. And that would be noble cause, cuz they thought it was the right thing that they were doing. They thought it was for the greater good. But yeah, a better example is the Nazis. The Nazis said that Jews had to be killed to save the world, basically. They thought Jews were horrible, so they just outright murdered them. And all the Nazis thought, well, we're doing this for the greater good of the world, even if it's killing someone, which is a crime, and but it's still a crime, and it in their opinion it was for the greater good, but it's really not. So it is all subjective also. So they thought that killing Jewish people was for the greater good, but it wasn't, obviously, but that's what they thought. So it's all subjective what you think is best for people. So that's the big problem with this, with the noble cause corruption, and it's the reason that it is still corrupt. It's not noble, really. It's just still corrupt. So the main thing about noble cause corruption um is, what you'd see in policing now is officers tampering with evidence. Nothing big, like how they had it in Nazi Germany back in World War II. But you'll see things like officers tampering with evidence to get someone convicted that they think is a criminal, or you know them trying everything possible to get someone convicted, and even if it's illegal. So maybe searching a house without a warrant because they know the person has committed the crime. That's noble cause corruption, because they are trying to get the person arrested even if they didn't commit the crime, but they're doing it to like stop criminals from running around and being out. But um there's really no personal gain to it, except maybe pride, I guess. I'm not sure, but yeah. So those are the main ways that you'll see it's main in policing, mainly is just trying to get criminals arrested, even if the way they do it is illegal. So in conclusion, corruption does come in many different forms. You have the theft, you have the bribery, you have the extortion, and you have noble cause corruption. Um, the main thing is distinguishing a regular crime and a corrupt crime, right? You have to really, like I said before, you have to really look at if they're using their authority, if the officer's using their authority, if they're gaining anything personal from it. You have to look at those things plus the crime to see if it is a corrupt officer. Um so yeah, those things are the most important things to look at when it comes to corruption, or when it comes to determining if it's corruption or just a regular old crime. And these are my references. I didn't know how to I don't know why in PowerPoint it doesn't let me like put it in like the APA form of citing. So just kind of left it like that. But yeah, it wouldn't let me like space it off how the APA does it. But that's it. Thank you.